At the dawn of the 20th century, America stood on the edge of greatness, victorious against Spain, powerful and proud. But across the ocean, in the islands of the Philippines, a new flag fluttered, red, white, and blue, but not the stars and stripes. It was the flag of a newborn republic, led by a young revolutionary named Emilio Aguinaldo, who believed the Americans had come to free his people. He was wrong. It all began in 1898 during the Spanish-American War. The U.S. Navy, under Commodore George Dewey, destroyed the Spanish fleet in Manila Bay in a single morning. The Filipinos cheered. Finally, after 300 years of Spanish rule, independence seemed within reach. Aguinaldo returned from exile, gathered his revolutionary army, and declared, "The Philippines is free. The people are sovereign." But the Americans had other plans. They landed troops in Manila not to hand over the city to the Filipinos, but to take it. Spain surrendered to America, not to the Filipinos. Behind closed doors, Spain sold the Philippines to the U.S. for $20 million under the Treaty of Paris, 1898. Freedom had a price, and it wasn't paid to the Filipinos. Aguinaldo was confused, then furious. His men surrounded Manila, demanding entry. American soldiers stared back from their trenches. Both sides watched each other nervously, one spark away from war. On February 4, 1899, that spark came. An American sentry fired at a Filipino soldier near San Juan Bridge. Nobody knows who pulled the trigger first, but by morning, the entire front exploded. The Philippine-American War had begun. Aguinaldo's forces fought fiercely. They were brave, determined, and outnumbered, but they knew the land. Battles raged at Santa Mesa, Caloocan, and Malolos, the capital of the fledgling Philippine Republic. The Americans advanced with modern rifles and artillery. The Filipinos fought with courage and desperation. When Malolos fell, Aguinaldo refused to surrender. He retreated into the jungles and mountains, turning the war into guerrilla warfare, ambushes, traps, night raids. To many Americans back home, this wasn't the liberation they were promised. It was an occupation. The American army, frustrated and unaccustomed to jungle warfare, responded with brutal force. Entire villages were burned. Thousands of civilians were killed in retribution campaigns. One general infamously declared, "The more you kill and burn, the better it will please me." The conflict turned ugly, and America's image as a hero began to fade. Back home, Mark Twain and the Anti-Imperialist League denounced the war. They asked, how can a nation born in liberty deny liberty to others? Meanwhile, Aguinaldo kept fighting until March 1901, when American forces captured him in the mountains of Luzon. They brought him before the cameras, tired and broken. Aguinaldo swore allegiance to the United States. The war, officially, was over. But in the southern islands of Mindanao, Muslim resistance, the Moro Rebellion, raged on until 1913. The cost? Over 200,000 Filipino civilians dead, thousands of American soldiers lost, towns reduced to ash, a nation's dream delayed for almost half a century. The Philippines wouldn't see true independence until July 4, 1946. But the war changed both nations forever. America had stepped onto the world stage, no longer a republic fighting for freedom, but an empire extending its reach across the Pacific. Emilio Aguinaldo once said, "I saw my people betrayed, but I never saw them broken." And perhaps that's the legacy of this forgotten war. Not defeat, but endurance. Not conquest, but courage. Because even when empire rises, the cry for freedom never truly dies.